What's up, buddies? And welcome to another live stream of Earbuds Podcast on the Twitch channel. We are the Earbuds. Me and my bud, Brett. That's your name. Your name's Brett.
That's what I've heard.
My name is Lucas. And, every now and then we decide to get together, talk music, we talk shop,
Hmm
some might say. We exchange ideas.
We're we're
We,
we're so deep in the biz that people have been begging like producers,
begging.
record companies. They've been like, "Hey guys, y'all got to start talking about more music." And we're like, "We already have the podcast. We already have the Patreon, $50 minimum monthly stuff." But
Yeah.
we're gonna
What
throw
else
them a
do you want
bone.
from us?
Wait, well, this is what they want. We're throwing them a bone. We're gonna, we're gonna do a new album today.
Yeah, we are. I don't think this is what anyone wants, but we're doing it. All right. So, what are we listening to today? I mean, I can't tell just from the backwards artwork that I have behind me.
Well, let me
For like
tell
we
you
mentioned production value, I have that going on.
let me tell you who this is, Lucas. Give you a little forward on this. This is a little band that I was in for a time. I was kind of the co-founder. Uh,
Oh,
I started it. I just was going to school with a couple friends, jazz musicians. They were like, "Brett, can you teach us some of your stuff?" I'm like, "Fine." And so I started the band Good Good Not Bad. And and after a while they were like, "We can't keep up with you. Respectfully, can you please leave the band?" I'm like, "Fine. I guess I'll do like a podcast or something. I don't know."
sure.
And then they're rebranded. So,
Yeah, yeah. So they were good, not bad before.
well, yeah, because it was pretty good, and like I just wanted people to know it's good. It's good. It's not bad.
It's not bad, right? I mean, it's jazz, right? So you're like, it's good.
You say it's jazz, and people are like, "Whoa, whoa, is this bad?" I'm like, "No, no, this is good."
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
but
not bad.
but it seems like they kind of leaned into the bad part of it, the kind of bad
Real
feeling
heavy,
that you
real
get.
heavy on.
Bad, bad, not good.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, their new name. I mean, they had to rebrand, like you said, like after you left. So I
It
totally get that.
it wasn't the same
Uh,
band
it
without.
was. We'll see. We'll see if it was a mistake after we listen to this album. This is their new album, Bad Bad Not Good. Their album is called Talk Memory, and it came out fucking today,
Whoop, boop.
fucking just now. It like literally just came out.
As a little very brief introduction, I know little to nothing about this band. I know they're like tight with the rap community. I know they're kind of like a jazz band, and aside from that, I haven't heard anything by them, as far as I know.
Yeah, they are a Canadian jazz group that is also very heavily influenced by hip hop. So they have worked with a lot of people in the hip hop scene, and I knew it from the moment I heard them that I was like, I eventually all these guys are gonna do is hip hop. Like that's what I thought in my head. It's like when I heard Tame Impala for the first time, I was just like, this dude is just about to get sequestered by the hip hop genre, and he's
You
just
can
gonna
just
make
tell.
awesome fucking beats forever. But they've worked with Tyler the Creator, Mick
Oh wow.
Jenkins, Kendrick Lamar,
Oh
Ghostface
shit.
Killah. These guys are legit, man, and hip hop people love them. Rappers love Bad Bad Not Good, and it is because like even like I said before they even started working directly with hip hop musicians, I mean they did a whole album with Ghostface Killah, which is pretty fucking dope. The whole thing. You can hear the hip hop influence in their music, and that's how they got together. Apparently, they united over their shared love of hip hop. They were listening to a lot of Odd Future at the time and MF Doom,
Oh,
and then it just kind of went from there, man. So it's kind of cool that they were like influenced by Odd Future, and then they worked with Tyler the Creator.
that must have been a crazy email that they got.
Can you imagine? Like that'd be like me getting an email from Matt Embry, and he says like, "Hey, I we want to get the RX Bandits back together, and we want you to sing every song on the tour. I'm just gonna play guitar." And I'd be
I'm
like,
just gonna
"Holy
I'm
fuck,
just gonna like kind of be in the back over here. I want you to take over, Lucas.
yeah, I'm gonna." And like he's like, "And I want you to sing all my guitar parts like you do too."
Well, you've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Like,
see if you can sing these parts right here on this album.
yeah, man, I am very excited for this. I love their album Four, and that's where I first kind of like heard the hip hop bits and has some of my favorite songs by them on that album as well. So I'm super excited to listen to this record.
Me too, man. I don't know what to expect, but I know it's gonna be fantastic musicianship and some features from a lot of people that I do not know.
Yes, I think it is going to be the same for me. I don't know who any of these people are. And this first song is called Signal from the Noise, and it is 9 minutes long, dude. So let's dive in.
Let's just get into it, man.
Man, Brett, I got to say, dude, if you don't have any Delta 8 on you right now, you might not enjoy this album as much as I do.
I mean, look, man, I got it in the other room. Should I pop one real quick?
I think you kind of should, unless it's not going to hit you in the next hour.
I mean, no, it's gonna take a bit.
Yeah, no, man, what a like acid jazz journey that song was.
Yeah. I mean, it had a lot of movements, or maybe not a lot, kind of just like three main movements, right?
For
Whereas
sure,
kind of
yeah.
the intro with that piano and then kind of ambient music, and then the drums come in, gets a little more musical. The bass starts doing a distorted solo, drum solo, and then the outro with the horns and they're like glitching and like they're kind of in left ear, right ear, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like that bass, like we were saying, that bass tone is like fuzzy and cheap,
Yeah,
but like I
yeah.
loved it.
I love it, man.
I think it was a stand-up bass he was rocking right there. I don't know for sure.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not sure. He plays stand-up bass and regular electric bass, so I'm not sure which one he was using there. But I loved it. And the drumming is incredible, dude. I forgot to tell you, like, this drummer is sick.
you didn't need to tell me that. If someone is a jazz drummer, they're a good drummer.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no in between. There are no exceptions.
I
Uh,
mean, they're just going off on this whole song. Like it's cool because it did bring back I'm pretty sure it brings back a melody from one of the songs in the album 4 that they did that came out prior to this. And I think that main melody that the piano plays is like a callback of some sort. And you brought up a good point, man, that maybe, the album's called Talk Memory. Like maybe they are going to be doing a lot of callbacks because this is the first album that they've done that their founding keyboardist he left the band.
oh no.
Yeah. So maybe the new keyboardist is throwing a few little Easter eggs, a few little nuggets of love his way by throwing in some of his old, material in there.
Hmm.
It's interesting. We'll see.
Well, yeah. That seems like a. Let's just move on to the next one. Let's see.
Yeah.
I am not usually a fan of stuff that is this unstructured and like
Yep.
this kind of
Yep.
like it's not chaotic, but it's like so unfocused. But
I think
well,
it was obviously a jam.
that seemed like a jam for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's get on to the next song, Unfolding Momentum 73.
Let's do it.
Whatever that means.
Man, that was cool at the end that you could hear like the clicks of the saxophone keys. Are
Uh,
they? Are they keys?
yeah, keys, I guess.
Yeah. I love like it was like getting quiet enough that you could hear like the little like tick, 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 while he was
Yeah,
playing that part that like kind of what would we call it, down pedgios?
yeah, downpeggios.
Yeah, yeah, he was playing a bunch of down pedgios that whole song. That was cool. That was like it had some cool dueling sax in it, you know?
Yeah, I this is kind of what I was worried about when we were gonna talk about a jazz album. Is
Yeah.
that like it's gonna be a little I don't know. It's just something good to put on in the background, but not something to really listen to.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like Bad Bad Not Good is not traditional jazz, and the last two songs that we've heard, the first two songs on this record, fall way more within the traditional jazz like umbrella than any of the stuff I've heard from them before.
Hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong, they are really jazzy. Like, they are definitely like a jazz like foundation in the group, but there's been so much more hip hop on their previous stuff that I think maybe the keyboardist, the original keyboard is leaving. Like maybe they went back to a more traditional kind of psychedelic, acid jazz sound.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess we can find out by going on with this record.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say Unfolding. It's not. I mean, I don't know. It's not like what I would call a bad song, but that was not very like it. Wasn't very interesting.
It's just not something that I would sit down and listen. Like, I wouldn't pick this song out of a crowd, you know?
Maybe if we were like smoking cigarettes and like had sunglasses on.
Well, sure, yeah, if we were like in a lounge and we were just kind of like, we had our like suits and our fedoras, but they
Yes.
looked cool, cool fedoras, you
And
know?
we're like just too cool. We're just like,
We were
oh,
just,
man.
hey, you see the hams on that broad? You know, that kind of thing.
Oh, see, you're picturing like an alcoholic in the 50s. I'm thinking like a beatnik, almost like looking like Bob Dylan in the 60s. Just like sitting there, just like when for some reason like the drummer, like because it happened a couple times in that song, the drummer, did a fill that we were just like, ooh, that was nice.
Oh.
And so that's what I feel like we just been like, oh, just smoking cigarettes, just go, ooh.
Maybe we can have a little buddy cop movie where,
Or we go to a jazz lounge.
we meet each other and, hey, kid, you better get out of here. This ain't your type of crowd.
You are just why I don't know why you're making jazz into a detective pulp thing, but on that note, I mean, let's keep the vibes going, man. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take another hit of this beautiful vaporizer that I'm using today. And we're going to listen to City of Mirrors. And this is featuring Arthur Vedukai, who is going to be directing a symphony or a little orchestra of strings. So I think that's where we're going to hear it here.
All right, let's get into it. Uh,
Hey, Fuzzhead.
hey, Fuzzhead, get out of
Get out of here,
here
guy.
with your little siren caca.
Oh, man. Wow. Like, what beautiful strings on that song, man.
Yeah, I think they really leaned into the fact that they had an orchestra for that one. That it was a kind of cinematic, almost sounding song.
Very soon, especially like when it gets to, maybe 2 minutes in or whatever, and the drums start kind of opening it up, and then slowly the whole song kind of swells, and it does get to this like like a climax, like a crescendo, and that was nice, man. The piano was just fucking going off.
Yeah, I liked the piano during that song. It had some cool parts.
Yeah, he was definitely like this whole thing is sounding, at least on every track. There's something, one instrument that is just seems to be improving.
I mean, yeah,
So like yeah, like on the last few songs, it's been clearly the drummer is just kind of like just like you said, like give him a tempo and just let him go. And on this one, it definitely seemed like the same thing with the drummer, just like give him a tempo, but also the piano was just kind of like, hey, you
I'll
know,
chime in here.
let me
It's
get on that, say.
well, it seems like the drummer's motif has been pretty consistent through these three songs. To start off small, escalate a little bit, and then kind
Yeah,
of drop off near the end.
yeah, yeah. I think where it's that was probably the shortest song on the record too. Maybe not, but it's been my favorite so far. I really like the strings a lot.
All right, well, let's head on to the next one.
The next one is called Beside April. I think this was the second single off this record.
All right.
Dude, that was like a prog rock song. That was prog rock.
That was a jazz band doing some prog rock, man. Uh,
Dude,
I can already say that that's probably gonna be one of my choice nugs for this album. It had that cool riff that the guitars and basses were kind of switching off doing. You know, bang.
yeah, dude.
Yeah. At the beginning, you said it had a kind of Brazilian feel. It had a little percussion in
For
there a little
sure.
bit.
Little bossa nova or samba type thing going on in the beginning. It was cool. The whole thing had a kind of Brazilian uh through line.
Yeah, that was cool, man. The drums were very active. It kind of had that maybe not a hip hop beat, but it was like a lot more straightforward than the stuff we've had as of yet. and it was
Well, it
very
kind of
funky.
started out hip hoppy, right? Like we were both just kind of like, all right, we both thought it was the most hip hoppy so far
Yeah, for
on the
sure,
record.
for
Because
sure.
they also had like synth playing at the beginning, like this kind of like scratchy, dirty synth playing, like right when the drums kind of kicked in.
Yeah,
And it definitely gave it a cool hip hop vibe to it. But man, that song grew and evolved, and the strings were beautiful on it. I loved the guitar parts. Like all the guitar riffs were cool. Apparently, the bassist was playing guitar on that song, which is really impressive. And parts of it reminded me of the Boogareens, which I was telling you is like a really good Brazilian psych band, and that's definitely been my favorite so far on the record.
well, let's see if it stands. We got this next one, Love Proceeding.
Ooh, it has almost 2,000 plays on it so far. So
Wow.
it's the next biggest hit on this album.
All right, well, let's get into it.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was a nice chill, though a little, it was chill but active, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
It's it had like the drums were doing pretty much like a little louder and more in the mix on this one for such a like chill song. So it added a cool energy to it.
yeah. We said it was kind of very 60s, sounding like a soundtrack for a black and white movie from the 60s.
Very lots of vintage vibes on this one, man. The saxophone and the flute like tandemly playing the same melody for like pretty much they were playing the main riff for the whole song. Man, it's so nice. Flute and saxophone are both of my favorites.
And working together as a team.
Yeah, you put those two sounds together for how good the production is on this record. Like it is just so buttery and smooth and so nice to listen to.
A winning combination. I loved I kind of got lost in that one a little bit.
I did too. I was tripping a little bit. I started like typing a bunch and I was just like just kind of spaced out and just let the song happen and it took me places, man.
Yeah. Well, let's get to Timid Intimidating.
Let's go to Timid Intimidating. Man, they're making this difficult on me to pick a choice nugs, man.
It's I mean, I feel like as we've gone through the record, we've both started to kind of understand what's going on a little more, and I felt myself like getting more and more lost in these songs, and
Yeah.
like I keep forgetting we're streaming and we're recording, and I'm just kind of like over here like, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I think this is the first record that we've done that I don't feel kind of awkward, like knowing that I'm on camera and like have to kind of like get into it, like bop my head to the music we're listening to because I've been genuinely for the last four songs or five songs just been like literally like me and you will just be like we're just listening to everything going on and then we're just like every 20 seconds we're like ooh, that was nice.
Yeah, like there was that part where it sounded like they almost got a microphone an inch from the piano strings, and like the saxophone was going crazy for a second
Dude,
there.
going off. The dueling basses were really cool. Like there's that
Yeah,
distorted bass with the stand-up bass.
yeah, that was an interesting like combination.
Really cool. And man, that there's that part where the bass and the flute were playing tandem at the same time, and the bass had that really punchy
Yeah, yeah.
sound. I almost thought it was a guitar. Dude, yeah, I like that one a lot.
And then like the piano and the bass kind of teamed up right after that happened. And it's just yeah, man, it's cool. Uh,
Very cool.
this next one is Beside April Reprise.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yep, another beautiful song. A reprise of the fourth track, is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Beside April, the reprise. Yeah, that was a man, so cinematic. Like me and you both got lost in the sauce there.
You said like Italian lovers walking through the streets of Italy.
Yeah, to me that song sounded like two lovers walking through Venice. And that's it. Just having a nice afternoon together, just a montage in a 60s, romance. movie.
I mean, if they haven't already made soundtracks for movies, they're about to.
Yeah. This is if this doesn't get them a movie, we're gonna have to write a movie so we fucking sign these guys on, probably for free. They'll probably do this score for free.
I mean, if it's us, then
Yeah, if they remember you, then they definitely will. Well,
uh,
let's get into the last song, man. Talk Meaning. This is the title track of the record. Oh no, it's not. Talk Memory is the record. But Talk Meaning is a similar sounding name,
it
and
does have one similar word, and the second word starts with M.
and I think I have a feeling we're gonna like it. What do
Well,
you think? Is it gonna be a fucking metal song? What do you think's gonna happen?
I can only assume that we're gonna have a guest appearance from Kendrick on this one. And it's gonna be kind of a metal, like a Megadeth kind of thing, you know?
That's an interesting thought. I think we might have some rap on this for sure. They have Terrace Martin is featured on it, and I listened to his album last year, and it's really good jazzy hip hop. So let's see if we got a rapper on this one.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, man, that was nice. At
That
the end of that, I wanted to be in a fucking desert sauna doing a
just
Sahara soak, like you said.
soaking up all the little instruments there.
Yeah, dude. Harp. What an underutilized instrument.
Well, it seems like maybe it's kind of hard to see it harp in any other light than like a dream sequence.
That's true. It's been like typecasted
Yeah,
for the last
it's
like
a
60
typecasted
years.
instrument.
Yeah. That's a shame. You're right. But man, it sounded so nice on this record. Like she was even there were moments where she was just like shring, 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 just
She was just
going
trying to
off.
keep up with everyone.
Yeah, that song started out like a little too much like the opening track, like Signal from the Noise, and I didn't like the opening track at first like that much. Like it was just fine,
Mm.
so I was a little worried about this one being very similar to it, but this one was more jammy, but like proggy and a little more structured than that first in the opening track.
Yeah, and it's one of the very few albums we've listened to on this stream that actually like kind of went out with a bang, you know?
Yeah, they
Until
did they brought it up, dude. They brought it up and it got loud and
yeah,
we both got lost in it.
until that very last minute when they're like, "All right, everyone shut up. We're going to give the chick her turn to play the harp.
We're all going to the spa.
We're all
We're
going to
gonna
the
have
spa. You take
uh
over."
dude, but I think the harp was my favorite thing about this song. Maybe other than the bass, I loved like the Ocean's 11 bass line
Oh yeah.
that whole time. Doom, doom, ding, boom, ding. Like it was great. But yeah, I would feel cool playing the harp if I was in this band.
Oh yeah. I mean, like playing anything in this band would make you feel. You could play the triangle, and you would feel just like a stud, you know.
Yeah, right, dude? Like I would feel cool in this band even if I was playing the harp.
uh, that yeah, man, a cool way to end the album. You
Very
know,
cool
it's
way.
like you kind of get the best of both worlds. You end it with bang, and then you also get that kind of silent, slow, soft ending.
Yeah, really, really nice, really pretty. I dug it, man. Dude, let's all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to
Let's get
talk.
into the shorty, baby. The
Let's get into
shorty.
the shorty.
We are talking about Talk Memory by Bad, not good. It was very
What
good,
up?
good, not bad.
What up? It was very good, good, not bad at all. You
That's
know?
you see now why they should have used my name instead of
Yeah,
rebranding.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy. I had no idea that you were in this band. Like when, back in the day.
I try to keep it low profile. It's kind of
Especially because they're
embarrassing,
Canadian.
honestly. Well, yeah, it was a long 3 years for me when I got lost. I was just going out on a walk, and I guess I went too far north.
You just started walking around.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
found.
well,
Yeah,
that's interesting. You did that at like 15, and so between 15 and 18, you were in good, good, not bad.
yeah.
And then you left because you said they couldn't keep up with you musically. So
Well, they were embarrassed just because I was going too far, and they were like, "Hey, can you tone it down?" I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna do that." And but it looks like
I'm physically unable.
Yeah.
to play worse than I play right now.
So it looks like it may be now. Maybe we could figure something out. But yeah, man, this was a pretty good album.
This was really cool, dude. Like it's crazy that there's three guys playing most of the music on this record.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's
But they do
crazy.
they do have a lot of help from like a full orchestra and a whole horn section, right?
Yeah, man, this is a whole horn section, like, something like six or seven violins, some cellos, some violas, but they also have, I mean, for a jazz record, there's a lot of features. And the features are just other musicians,
I
like
mean, yeah,
other,
no vocals, not a single vocal on this record.
not a single vocal. And I thought on the last track on Talk Meaning, I really thought that we were gonna get some rap because Bad Bad Not Good has done a lot of stuff with hip hop artists like Kendrick Lamar and Ghostface Killah and MF Doom and stuff. So I expected Terrace Martin on that last track to rap for us, and I think he was playing saxophone on that one. And the features they have are people like Laraji, who plays an electric zither on a song. They have Carrie and Riggins, who plays extra percussion on Besides April. Brandy Younger, who plays harp on the closing track, Talk Meeting.
Mm.
And then they have a guy who is leading this whole, symphonic orchestra, like a mini symphony, Arthur Verocai, on four or five tracks out of the whole record. And dude, I would say like I loved all the instruments, but I love the strings on this record the most.
Yeah, it gave the album a very cinematic feel throughout the entire thing,
Super
especially
cinematic.
when the orchestra came in. We keep saying that like if they haven't already, they're gonna be writing for a soundtrack sometime soon.
I'm gonna be upset if they don't get on like a Paul Thomas Anderson movie in the next year and a half.
But I mean, I knew the musicianship on this record was going to be insane, and I was correct. The bassist, I loved the bass was my second favorite instrument on this whole thing.
Me too.
The drums are obviously my first, just because I'm a drummer.
Dude, he's incredible.
Yeah,
He's fucking insane. And like on the whole record, he is just going off. And there's something about the way that the drums were mixed and mastered on this album, or produced, I guess you could say, is like there's something about it that it made me feel like my head was like in the very middle of the drum set the entire album.
yeah, right.
And maybe that's something to say about how up front in the mix the drums are.
Yeah, yeah. It was a very big highlight of most of the music, and could potentially have just made up the base of what the rest of the instruments were going off of.
Yeah, and they were nice and like splashy. Like all the cymbals were really splashy, and
Yep.
but for a lot of the songs, I felt like the actual like snare and toms and the kick were a little compressed. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too far against that. The toms had a little more reverb in them, but it had a very tight snare, very splashy cymbals, as you said. Uh, and yeah, I don't know. Just this whole record had fantastic production, and the sound quality was great. I could even tell that from my $5 headphones over here.
Oh God, dude, I was hoping so, man, because I'm wearing like my nice headphones, and this whole thing, like you said, dude, like as the album went on, once we kind of knew what we were getting into a little bit, because honestly, going into this record, I expected way more hip hop and way more like the album I heard by Bad Bad Not Good the most was called Four, and it had like the singer of Future Islands on it. It had Mick Jenkins on it. It had Kate Renata. So like
Yeah.
they were doing stuff with like more pop, like indie musicians on that record, and then before that they had came out with a whole album with Ghostface Killah. So I think like, dude, this is gonna be hip hoppy and synthy and kind of psychedelic, and they did way back more into like a traditional like '60s jazz, the whole album, and
Yeah.
very improv and jazzy and prog rocky at times.
It was a lot. I mean, obviously, it was mostly jazz, and they did hit on hip hop elements a couple times, but that'd
but
probably
very
be
sparingly.
very sparingly. It was even more, prog than that, and even more like movie soundtrack. Is that a genre?
Dude,
But like,
yes, like for sure. This needs to be they need to remaster a 60s movie and put this whole album on it.
it was, yeah, and the first song was good. As the songs kept going, I got a little worried. The second track and the third track, and
I
then
agree, man. Me too.
by track four, I was kind of like, oh, uh-oh. And then from then on, I progressively like understood the fifth track and then the sixth track, and then, by the time the sixth track was halfway through, I was kind of like, okay, I know what this album's doing. I accept this album.
Yes, yes, exactly.
And it made me enjoy it a lot more.
Absolutely, dude. That is the same journey I had. It was a moment where like the first two songs I think were a little like that first one is just a 9 minute improv, you
Yeah, it was
know,
a full on jam. And then song two and three, like the second song was very dreamy, and
very sleepy. Yeah.
uh, the third song was a little kind of ambient as well. And so I was worried that it was gonna keep getting lower and lower and
Yeah,
lower.
with the third song, City of Mirrors, it got more theatrical. Like that's when the strings came in. So
Yeah,
we started.
right.
It was like it. I don't like. This is one of the first records that I think the tracks were in order on purpose.
The other records were just kind of random.
Yeah, the other records. I mean, I can't really remember. Little Sims, I would say, like definitely put her shit in a certain order for a reason. But I would say that this was the best example that we've gotten so far on these shorties of the songs are in this order for I think on purpose.
Right.
It
Uh,
really does build throughout the whole record.
and so speaking of songs, what, my good man, would you say are your choice nugs?
Dude, I changed them several times as we were listening to it.
Yeah, I did as well.
It got harder and harder for me to pick my choice nugs as the album went out. That's how much I started liking it more and more as it went in. But man, I think we're gonna share my first one because it's the first one that made us kind of perk our ears a little bit and start changing our tune.
You, my man,
No
are
pun
talking.
intended.
You were talking about Beside April.
Beside April.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that song was the first one that made us both go, okay.
Yeah, because it was a lot more active than the last two. It kind of starts with this this little percussion. It has a Brazilian type of feel about it.
Super Brazilian.
And like the further the song gets, the more like proggy it feels. It has a hip hop beat at the beginning. It even has like a riff that it goes to a couple times that was super cool.
Oh, dude, that guitar riff, like,
And
it started getting like really it was like an earworm.
and the bass started doing it too.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, woo, man,
Yeah.
that's like, 3 or 4 minutes into the song when that starts happening, when it is just like huge and like bombastic.
Yeah. It takes its time to get into these big moments, you know?
It takes its time for sure. Like they built it so perfectly, and like, yeah, there were times where it reminded me of like the Boogareens, which is a really cool Brazilian psych rock band. So they had this like psych rock stuff going on, and then like you said, like, dude, like this song is prog rock for the second half.
Yeah. I'd say the first half is a lot more. I don't know. I don't know. What is the first half of the song?
The
Just kind
first
of
half
like
is like a psychedelic like 60s
kind of hip hop.
movie taking place in Brazil.
Yeah.
But then they have that like, yeah, that guitar riff that comes in like minute 45 when it's like like it's just it completely goes off the rails after that, like in the best way.
Yeah, and I believe the bass and the guitar start playing that riff at the same time, which is
Yeah,
super cool.
like a
And
distorted bass also at times.
I feel like it's like when they were recording the song, when they were jamming, the bassist and the guitarist were like got mind melded, and they started playing the riff, and everyone else was like, "Oh shit! Oh, this is what we're doing. All right." But
Right, dude. You get.
everyone's
I
getting
feel
into it.
like the drummer is feeling it, like
Yeah.
as the song goes on. So he at one point is just like animaling out, like cha 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 damn it, like just doing crazy the splashy cymbals, like we said, and like, dude, like I usually hate prog rock.
Yeah, you
I
do.
I I think a big part of it is the production of it. So I genuinely like most of the time hate prog rock, and but I know that prog rock incorporates a lot of jazz. You can hear it, like it's
Yeah.
so apparent. But this is a jazz band playing prog rock, and it's so much better. I like it so much more.
Yeah, man. It was definitely it was a trip. That one was featuring Kareem Riggins
Liam Riggins, yeah,
and
man, he played
Arthur and Arthur
Arthur Barokai or Barros Barokai,
Barrett.
who's a big surprise, man. He's Brazilian, so he has this like you know romantic sound to his strings on the whole record.
Mm, yeah.
And this is the first one that he really started bringing that out. And yeah, man, we both said it when we after we listened to it, we're like, well, that's a fucking easy choice, Nug.
That's a choice.
Basically,
And
that's a choice, dude.
where it gets harder is
It
number
gets
two.
so much harder.
I wouldn't say necessarily because this one would be the best song on the album or anything.
Sure.
Uh, but this is kind of where it turned us around. And I don't. I mean, I think the second and third tracks kind of lost me, but aside from that, like these were
It's
all
hard.
really good tracks.
They're all really good, dude. Dude, I mean, I had to change my second one two times. So what was yours, dude? Like, what stood out
Uh,
to you the most? Because, like you said, they're all so good. Like,
I I also changed mine a couple times. Uh, and I'll
like
just tell
back and
you,
forth, and like,
yeah,
you're just like, I don't know. I like that one still. And it
yeah,
was hard, man.
I take notes, and when I hear a song that's like, oh, like that speaks to me, that's probably gonna be a nug. I like kind of put a star next to it, and then the next song comes out, I was like, uh, well,
I
like which
know.
one is gonna be? But ultimately, I am picking "Signal from the Noise," the first song on the record. Um, look,
What?
so here's the thing. Uh, I we finished the album, and I immediately go for my phone, and I go back to that first song, and I think my appreciation for it definitely rose after the context of this album.
Wow, that's crazy, dude. I literally had the same thought. I'm like, I wonder if I'm gonna like the opening track a lot more after hearing the rest of this album.
Yeah, and so it's that first part with the intro is so beautiful and cool with the piano and the distorted bass. And
They
then
really take their time to build it up,
they
man.
take their time, but they build it up, and the drummer just goes crazy. The bassist goes insane.
Yeah. The
Uh,
bass has that awesome acid jazzy, like fuzzy
oh,
tone the whole time. And we
oh,
said like it sounds cheap, but like we still loved it.
it's like a cheap Walmart amp or something, or like a fuzz pedal you get from some dude down the street.
Just
Uh,
some dude.
but it was jammy, but it was still like kind of structured, and the guitar has a really cool solo. I think that's the guitar. Like
I
in the
don't know if
middle
there was
there.
guitar on that one. I remember wondering throughout that whole song, like, do they still have a guitarist in this band?
I thought I wondered throughout this whole album.
Man, he came in at times and shined, but I think the bassist plays guitar, so yeah, he's a fucking pretty killer guitarist on when he has to be. But dude, even with Signal from the Noise, even I liked it from the get go, but I was just like, it made me think, it made me realize that I was not going to get what I thought I was going to get on this record.
Yeah.
So I, even though I was a little concerned about what the rest of the record was going to sound like, I still wrote down it might not be something I jam to all the time, but I can still listen to it again.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I initially thought. I had no idea what I was getting into. This was the very first track. I thought the jam part was pretty cool. Uh, and for some reason, after listening to the album, it's really cool. And even
Yeah.
when it breaks down from that and it quiets down a lot more, it's the the structure of the songs, the production, the songwriting is so beautiful. And then uh, at the end, the outro is a super psychedelic outro with a bunch of whizzings and horns kind of glitching and going all over the place.
Yeah, it really tripped me out.
Uh,
It really tripped me out. I didn't expect it at all.
so just a very cool first song, man. My second choice Nug.
Wow, that really surprised me, dude. I was genuinely flummoxed.
I saw.
Yeah,
I
my
saw it in your
jaw
face.
dropped. That's crazy.
Well,
Yeah,
what
man, that's
about
cool.
you? Huh?
I think, man, I bounced all over the place. At first, it was City of Mirrors because that's track number three, and it was the first one that started taking the turn for me. And I think it was just the introduction of the strings. But after, like, Beside April was clearly the first choice Nug, and then as the album went on, I was just like, I'm liking all of these more than City of Mirrors.
Yeah.
So then I had to start really looking into it, man. And I was back and forth between Love Proceeding and Timid, and I landed on Timid.
Timid. Timid, intimidating.
Timid, intimidating. That I, I think a lot of it has to do with the flute, man. I love the flute on the
You
whole
love
thing.
your
Like
little flute.
I love the flute ever since I was in sixth grade when I was playing it, and he put some stank on this flute. He got nasty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I loved it, dude. And then during times we were just like saying that, man, there's some like Steely Dan vibes during this song, kind of. Like there's a part where the part where the bass and the flute like go back and forth and start doing the same thing, like this tandem.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
woo! Man, that part is killer, and that bass is fuzzy as shit the whole time. And then
Wait,
we called it out like there's like a bass solo in this, and you pointed it out to me that there were two basses playing at once,
yeah. There's a
and
stand-up
that
bass and an
like
electric bass.
that like did that. I did that nasty face that you do when you hear a killer riff. You're just like, oh, like you just smelled some shit.
I think like it's a weird but very cool decision to have like most of this like of any string solos, a lot of them are bass solos.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like
Like,
who thinks like that?
and a cool fuzzy distorted bass on a jazz song, man. Like, it gives it such a unique vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. It keeps
And that
it
dueling basses was just such a cool idea. You have one distorted electric bass going off, and then a stand-up clean jazz bass in the background, just keeping this like
just
walking rhythm,
holding it down. Yeah.
holding it down, dude. In the pocket, an insane saxophone solo in this song.
Yeah.
Ridiculous
Yeah.
saxophone solo.
There
There was like cool like bedroom pop guitar in it too.
yeah, very clean, very bit of reverb behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sax,
Woo!
he's playing like if he doesn't nail this take, they're gonna fire him from the project.
Yeah, there's like a gun to his head.
He's like panicking.
I'm so scared. Dude, that was the part like me and you got lost in the sauce on this song, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the more the album was going on, the more I was kind of getting lost in the music and like I don't know, I was just kind of like my mind was blank and I was just kind of floating in
Yeah.
this sea of noise, man.
I didn't hear from you for like 2, 3 minutes during Timid Intimidating until pretty much both of us at the same time during the sax solo were like, oh shit. And man, that what a great dreamy outro, right? Like just chill saxophone, this like nice piano part, and you said I think it was this song that you said it sounds like the microphone is like right up on the piano, like right up on those strings, just capturing that really
Yeah.
punchy, organic tone, man.
Yeah, because there were like I think at the end, it seems like the pianist was like really putting some weight behind like hit pushing those keys down, and they
Yeah.
wanted to get the most out of that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Timid, man. I gotta say, like, even the reprise of Beside April, I loved. You know, Talk Meeting is a fucking killer outro song.
Yeah, super cool. Love
That might
proceeding.
become my choice snug over time. Talk Meeting.
I mean, it's just hard to know.
Yeah.
This is definitely an album. If I was able to get over the judgment hump halfway through the record, two or three more listens could do unknown things, to my opinion of this record. Right?
Yeah, dude. Like like you should have done? Take a Delta 8, wait a couple hours, and then listen to this record because I gotta tell
Yeah.
you, man, like the having good headphones on and being stoned during this was like so ear candy.
Yeah, you know what? I might just like I don't know. The next time I'm tripping on some Delta 8s, I'll steal the stereo from the living room. I'll just sit in the darkness of my roommate's room that I stole.
And the
Just
darkness that is your
the
existence.
darkness that is my soul, and pop this record on. But for now, man, what are you gonna rate this dang thing?
Man, what a journey with this record. I love Bad Bad Not Good. I've loved everything that I've heard by them up until this point.
In which
And
you're like, I'm sick of it.
and I mean, I just kind of never heard anything like this from them. Not from what I could remember. You know, there's something very cinematic about this whole record and something very specifically 60s cinematic to
Yeah,
me. And I am just so obsessed with that aesthetic and that vibe. Like L. Michaels Affair is bringing that back in a a jazzy type of way. I mean, you got bands like Budo's band that are bringing it back in a type of way, and there's from pretty much City of Mirrors on, it's like the combination of like a live jazz band with like electric instruments like the synth and the bass and everything like combined with a live orchestra is just very reminiscent of the 60s to me, and especially like 60s cinema. So like, man, once that vibe started coming in, it was really easy for me to just like love everything about this record, to be honest. From the production to just like how incredible the musicianship is on the whole thing,
right.
it really like I loved everything about it from City of Mirrors on. So, fucking 6 out of 8 songs I really, really loved. If not, like, it's going to become some of my favorite songs that I'm going to listen to in the near future. Like, I got to give this, fuck, man, because I know it's just going to get higher. I know my rating's only going to get higher the more I listen to this. So, like, I'm giving it an 8.0.
All right. Okay. That is not bad at all.
I think it's the highest rating I've given an album so far, maybe next to Little Sims.
Uh, I mean, we did do an album. I think you gave it a 9, right?
Did I? I already
I
forgot,
think you
man.
might have given Texas a pretty high score.
Yeah, yeah, maybe so. But that's what I mean. I know this is gonna get higher, but I just gotta like be a little reserved today, just because like I know it's gonna get higher, man. So I'm just gonna give it. I'm gonna give it. You know what? Fuck it. In the last 30 seconds, I'm going up to an 8.5.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's more than you gave Thrice for Horizons East, so I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
That is an easy like. I like this way more than Thrice.
Man, I'm gonna give this one. I'm thinking, God, I've been wrestling with the ranking for this one the entire time
I know,
because this
right?
is something that is so unfamiliar to me and a music that I just so do not listen to. Uh, and it really grew on me, and it's definitely gonna grow on me more. Giving this a low rating would be a like ridiculous. Just the musicianship and the songwriting, the jamming. So
Yeah, it's so next level. Like it's so next level.
I'm thinking, but like I don't know. It might just be par for the course for jazz these days. I don't know. I
It's
don't know
not,
what
dude.
jazz is
I like
happening.
jazz. I follow jazz. Bad Bad Not Good is by far my favorite jazz that I've ever listened to.
Well, I'm thinking of giving this one for now. I'm thinking a 7.2, which even feels a little low. Uh,
Don't you feel like it's just gonna get higher as you listen to it?
it's just gonna get higher, so I'm honestly not too worried about it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you know, it really just it grew on me so much, and I just know I'm gonna love it more and more. 7.2 though is strong.
Yeah. If we could have had a couple more rap verses from like, I don't know, Del the Funky Homo Sapien or
Yeah, yeah,
Logic.
yeah. I get you. Like you just if I think you're a little salty that you weren't on this record.
I didn't say that,
Well,
actually.
I did. I said it so
Uh,
you didn't have to.
I don't, it doesn't matter that Bad Bad Not Good has not responded to the emails that I sent. I said, look, if you don't want a rapper, I could beatbox too.
Yeah. Oh shit, dude. Well, that would have made this album an easy 9 for me. Had you been on it doing that.
An easy 9 and 9.8, I think.
An easy 9. Well, I mean, what a great record, dude. Like, like for someone like you're not even a fan of jazz, really. Like I'm a casual fan of jazz. Like I like jazz, but they just still like to this, they are bringing such a new sound to it, and I love it so much.
Yeah, man. You never really know what you're gonna get with these new albums. I didn't know this band already, uh,
Right.
and it's just so cool when you're just kind of open to a whole new venue of music.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you get bit in the ass by it, and sometimes you get blessed like this record.
Yeah. Sometimes you get bit in the ass, and sometimes you get kissed in the ass.
Hey, man, this was like just a 42-minute long pucker. Yep. Well,
Well,
on that note,
thank you,
thanks for
buddy.
listening, buddies.
Thank you all for tuning in. Uh, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Earbuds, EBP cast. You already
Find
know.
us all over it. You already know.
Jean-Luc
We
Guitard, Brett Handerhan.
Yep. On Mondays, we got full episodes. On the weekends, you get the shorties. See our live streams Friday on twitch.tv/earbuds podcast.
7
Find
p.m.
us on
Central Time.
Instagram. Yeah, I didn't hear what you said, but I believe you. And find us on Instagram at EBPcast. I mean, thanks for listening, guys. We're gonna keep doing these, and you're gonna keep listening, hopefully.
And you're going to keep listening.
And you're gonna keep listening. Like, and we love you for that. Brett, what would you rate this episode, my guy?
You know what? I'm going to rate this episode an 8.8.
8.8. That's not bad. I'm gonna rate this episode an 8.82.
All right. Well, let's see where that goes.
Well, I think this was good.
I think this was good.
This was bad, not good.
This was good, not bad, my man.
This is good, not bad. Bye, buddy.
Bye, y'all.